Hey everybody, it's another This Week in Nano, where we get to hang out with some members of the core team and Brian from the Nano Center, get a little update about what's going on. I'm Sean, the host of the NanoCast. Why don't you guys introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Hey everybody, I'm Troy. I do public relations for the Nano Foundation.
I'm Lee. I'm a protocol developer for Nano.
Hey, and I'm Brian, head of the Nano Center.
Sweet. Thanks a lot for everybody coming on, just giving us a little update. Lee, why don't we start with you? We've got Epoch Blocks coming. That should have happened by the time this video comes out. So what's going on there?
Yeah, at the time of recording, we're hoping to start those soon, start broadcasting those soon. We've come up with a way to hopefully minimize the interruption to services. So Epoch Blocks do have a potential to interrupt some types of services because we are putting them on other people's chains, and some services don't accommodate that well. So we figured out that a better way to upgrade some services will be to upgrade a separate account that we own and then send Nano from that account to the services account, because a feature of Epoch Blocks is if you receive Nano from an upgraded account, then your account gets upgraded too. So that will result in minimal potential interruption to services by not actually putting Epoch Blocks on their chains, but still upgrading them.
So it's kind of like an antidote that spreads throughout their whole system. You just infect one account. Infect is probably the wrong word, but you infect one account and it just goes from there.
Yeah, and that should lower the amount of Epoch Blocks we'll have to create. Of course, this won't work for inactive accounts or accounts that are offline, but for accounts that are online, hopefully it's a much easier way to upgrade.
Sweet. When I was writing the kind of the synopsis of what Epoch Blocks were last week, I was typing, it's like a virus, and then I was like, well, that maybe that's not a good way to describe it. But it does seem like there's some parallels there.
It seems like it's a good word as long as you just put all of it's not a bad thing, it's not this, but that's the best way to describe it, is you basically infect the system and just let it propagate through.
Right. And Lee, you want to talk a little bit about confirmation height?
Yeah, so that's a change I've been working on. The change itself is technical, so this first part will be fairly technical, but after that I'll explain some of the areas where it's useful, and hopefully that'll be more understandable to a more general audience. So confirmation height has to do with quickly checking if a block is confirmed. So in Bitcoin, if you have a transaction, you can check where it is in the blockchain and how many blocks have been generated since that transaction. And that's an easy way to check how confirmed the transaction is. In Nano, that process is currently a bit more complicated. You have to tell your node to reach out to the network and request confirmation from representatives. This will automatically happen if the block is new, but either way, it takes some time to get confirmation. And even if you've already gotten confirmation on a block, if you want to go back and check if it has confirmation again, you have to restart that process. So confirmation height is a way to store in the database if a block has been confirmed. So later, if you want to query if the block has been confirmed, you can look back in the records and check that. This is helpful in a number of ways. One way is that this will inherently add block cementing. And block cementing means that once a block is confirmed, it can't be rolled back. And we can now add that because we can, when we're rolling back a block, we check if the block is confirmed. And if it is confirmed, then we simply don't roll it back. This also should make integration with services easier, because services can now, if they have a pending transaction, they can now quickly check if it's confirmed or not, as opposed to the callback, which is good for new transactions, but for old transactions, it can take time, and the code for that is a bit complicated.
And does the confirmation height, is that going to replace active graph?
Well, they do serve similar functions. Theoretically, both active graph and confirmation height could exist. But since confirmation height does do a lot of the same things that active graph would do, at the very least, I think it'll put off an implementation of active graph.
I was wondering if you could just kind of, in like 2 sentences, sum up like the benefits of what you're working on with confirmation height.
Yeah, this is like an explain to Brian thing that that's what we call this.
Yeah, exactly. Lee, you got to think of the most simple man on the planet, and I'm right here, and explain it to me.
It has a lot of benefits. If I had to sum up the core of it, the core of it's pretty technical. So in terms of what benefits an average user might see from it, I'd say blocks minting, which adds to the security of the node, and it should make integration with services easier. So hopefully we'll see more services supporting Nano.
Sweet. I think now it's a great time to move on to things that are happening in the community. One cool thing that happened was Colin appeared on Datadash, did a little interview, and that was a pretty great interview. If you haven't checked it out yet, you definitely should.
Yeah, they filmed it back in September, and we've basically just been just been like, come on. We've been really excited for it. I know a lot of the people in the community were really excited to see it. He's Datadash has popped in to the subreddit a number of times and has just always been a big Nano fan. So it's really exciting to see the two of them sit down and just talk about the project and the future and how Colin got started with it. That's one we've been looking forward to for a long time, and I was very happy for it to finally get out there. We always are looking for these good opportunities to get. Colin loves to speak about the project, and when you get somebody like that that's super interested in it, it's normally going to be a pretty good interview. Yeah, I know you've had him on here, so.
Yeah, and I feel like on Datadash's episode, he was able to articulate why delegated proof of stake is what he chose. I think better than I've seen anywhere else. So for that's a big question. Why is it DPoS? Well, you can find out in that interview. You also highlighted Jolt for the spotlight.
Yeah, Jolt. Anytime I get to talk to Brian, this is different Brian, since he has been working on Jolt, we don't get to speak as much anymore. So this was like my excuse to get to call him up. But yeah, really excited to kind of get an update on their project. It's very cool. The fact that they're trying to do it with such a low price point, where between $30 and $50 for a hardware wallet, or you can just build your own, is really exciting. Really looking forward to it. I can't wait to get it to try testing. He had a very rudimentary one built back in February when we were out in LA. So we played around it, passed around it there, but I think it's kind of on another level now. So excited to see it, with the casing, excited to really just get to try it. And so hopefully beginning of this year, next year, we'll be good to go there. It's obviously not a project through us. It's a separate project. I think it's Brian and James Coxon, and they might have a couple other developers working on it. But I mean, it's just great stuff. It's just all we want to do with building this ecosystem out, as far as have affordable ways to interact with Nano anywhere you are. It's like the whole, kind of goal of the project. And this is a really an important step moving forward.
Yeah, and it's a great little write-up of really getting into some of the nitty-gritty of things they're doing, answering some concerns that people have had. If you're a technical-minded person, definitely go and check it out. And if you're less technical like me, maybe a skim is good enough.
Yeah, probably. I remember when they first released their, the this is what we're working on back in, I think, May. A lot of people had concerns about it having Wi-Fi enabled. And that was like the big topic on Twitter. So, he covered that a little bit and some of the things they're doing. And then when we posted it on the subreddit, I saw he was in there answering questions that people had. So if you have any questions or concerns, just throw it in there. Brian will come. He'll answer it to the best of his ability. He's a great dude. So really excited for Jolt and to see what they come up with.
Cool. And we also saw that Bruno, who you did a spotlight on a couple weeks back,
a couple weeks ago,
was he's been posting a couple articles, and he's got more coming on just like understanding the Nano network.
He's a blogging machine. Yeah, he put one out last week about some of the things that we've talked about as far as the proof of work. One thing that we're looking at doing is doing a proof of work prioritization. So if the network is basically at its bandwidth, a maximum bandwidth that a node can handle, it won't crash the network. You'll simply be able to increase the level of work that you do when you are producing a transaction, and the node will sort them by the highest value first. So you will be able to always get your transactions through. It just might take a couple seconds longer. So that's one of the things that we're putting in place to help fight the spam. I'll definitely have Colin kind of speak more onto that when we get the chance. Kind of put a full article out just detailing what we're looking at doing. This will be kind of like one of the first steps here to really fight spam attacks. I know it's been one of the big concerns, I guess, within the community, and one of the things that's brought up a lot is what the plan for spam attacks are. I'm really looking forward to getting that in. I saw it was in the Bolton release. Roy had said he moved it to 19. I don't think we've released the code name, so I'll call it 19. But in talking to Colin's here with me in Boston, and talking to him yesterday, it sounded like he was going to try and work on it, and get it pushed through with the Bolton release.
Great. Hype. And this is a kind of a great transition to talk about the Nano Center. We're sending, or actually not part of it, I shouldn't say a bunch of the Nano community helped fundraise for Bruno to send them to Bitconf.
Yeah, Sean, you are part of the Nano community. Don't say that. You're part of the Nano Center, all of that. Yeah, Bruno got he's going to be sent to, I should say, Bitconf in Brazil, November 16th through 17th. Some really generous donor made that possible, and he's going to have a booth, pamphlets, all that kind of thing. You can go on the site right now, scroll down a little bit there, and Nano's there as a sponsor. I think it's really exciting. Bruno's a huge contributor, as Troy is just referencing, with his articles and his knowledge. He's a community manager, as many of you know, for Brazil. He's very active in the community. So it's really exciting. It's going to be good.
Great. Good work, everybody that helped send him there. What else is going on in the Nano Center?
So our website redesign continues. We are under development currently. The design is done. So Jeff is working actively on that. First on our list right now is our wiki that we're going to have on the site. We're going to house anything and everything on there, hopefully in a really nice format. One of the things that will be on there is the distributed proof of work that James originally started and continues. And the community decided they wanted a dashboard to be able to showcase every stat you could think that the DPOW system is going to give us. So that should be nice. That should be housed on the wiki, so you can reference that. You can see all the exciting clients that are using it, how many transactions per second are going on, et cetera. So that, among other things, I'm going to have community members hopefully contribute to and really put together the wiki exactly how they want it to be, because at the end of the day, it's a community project. So we have that going on. I'd say the last thing, the Nano SMS project, we had our closed alpha just finish, I think 5 or 6 days ago now. Learned a lot. Pergamum, TJ, the lead dev on that right now, he gleaned a lot of information from it, which I think is going to be really helpful. I put out a survey a few days ago. I think most of you probably saw on Reddit, trying to get opinions and knowledge about our user base from all around the globe, for at least people looking at Reddit and my Twitter. We got some interesting information there that we're going to be able to use to purchase some numbers to make this this process easier as we learn and grow in the Nano SMS project, trying to kind of offload some of those costs that are put on the users at the moment in terms of actual SMS transactions. So from there, it's just going to be how are we going to take it from closed alpha to an open beta. We want to do it, correctly and efficiently, and just it's a big project. And I think about it now, and it's hard to wrap my head around sometimes. But I think if it's done right, it can be a huge advance in Nano's ecosystem. So it's exciting.
Sounds awesome.
I think we all know that you're the man to lead this, Brian, and we have full faith in you.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for that faith, Troy. I appreciate it.
God, you're doing a great job.
I also wanted to say, in all seriousness, that the idea of a wiki I think is really cool because, it's not like the community's applying for a job or anything, but it's almost like you're putting together like a portfolio of like, here's what we've done. Here's all the things the community's accomplished, an easy way for you to look at it and learn what we've done. So I think it's a really cool idea.
Yeah, like you just highlighted, there's so many guys out there and girls, I'm sure, who are contributing just really interesting things. From Johansson, who has Nano links, he has all the links of everything ever made in the Nano ecosystem, to Ryan with Nano Crawler, or I could go on and on. There's just a lot of different resources out there, and if you're not in the ecosystem, I think it's really hard to aggregate them all together and have them presented to you in one spot. And I don't think the Nano Center Wiki needs to be the be-all, end-all at the end of the day, but I think it's going to be a really good start, and just be really helpful for community members for any reference points. So
I think I was looking yesterday, and with the Jolt one, I think that was my 15th week doing the spotlights, just doing on highlighting different projects. So I think we've done 15, and I don't think there's really any sort of end in sight. Like, it's not like I'm struggling to be like, who am I going to talk to this week? It's like we have like a backlog of people that we're wanting to reach out to and do them on. So definitely exciting. Definitely looking forward to talking to the rest of the projects out there.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I think that about wraps it up. I mean, I'm sure we could keep on talking, but I think this is a nice little synopsis of things that have been going on. So thanks again, everybody, for coming on, and we'll see everybody next week.
Yeah, I hope to see everybody in Boston tonight.
Oh, yeah. So
I got a meetup to get ready for.
What he means is I hope I saw you at the meetup.
I hope I saw you. It was great seeing everybody the other night is what I was supposed to say. That's right.
I'm catching a red eye, Troy. I'll be there.
Oh man, that'd be my dream.
I wish I could come out. I'm all the way in California right now, but maybe next one.
Maybe next one.
Maybe next one.
We'll have to come to you. Nano Travels.
About time. The Nano Center. I'm integral. All right.
Yeah, we know. We have to show our love.
All right. It's good seeing you guys.
It was good seeing you. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.